let's stop playing nice. You want HBAR to explode? You want that sweet moonshot, the $10 0 cents, $20 0 cents, I can finally quit my job and buy a Lambo dream? Yeah? Well, here's the truth. You don't deserve it, not yet, because you don't even understand what you're holding. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type interested in the comments, and I will give you a heart. Every day I see HBAR holders walking around like blind zombies. But it's enterprise ready, but it's carbon negative, but Google's on the council. Yeah, and? Do you think Google cares about your little $500 0 cents bag? Google doesn't care if you eat ramen tonight or filet mignon. They care about cutting costs. That's it. You keep bragging about enterprise adoption like it's a guaranteed golden ticket. Spoiler alert, it's not. Hedera processed 2.4 billion transactions in January 2025 alone. More than Ethereum. Huge, right? But then here's the punchline. Most of those are micro transactions worth fractions of a cent. Great for throughput, but useless for pumping your bags. You're bragging like your restaurant gave away 1 million free samples, but forgot to mention you only sold 200 meals. Congrats, you're busy, still broke though. And don't even get me started on token supply. As of 2025, only 45% of total HBAR is in circulation. The rest, locked up, waiting to hit the market through 2031. That's 6 more years of supply flooding in. Yet, every unlock, you act surprised when price dips. Surprised? That's not surprise. That's willful blindness. That's like stepping on a rake every morning and asking, why does my face hurt? But here's where it gets funny. Then you twist the narrative. You tell yourself, it's okay, those tokens are for ecosystem growth. Like that magically erases dilution. That's like eating cake for breakfast and telling yourself it's for calcium. Stop lying to yourself. Supply matters. And until demand smashes into that wall of tokens, your moonshot is just a bedtime story. Linda, 38, accountant, she's been telling her husband since 2021, it's fine, adoption is coming, HBAR's a long-term play. Meanwhile, she ignores every unlock, every sideways chart, and every warning sign. Linda isn't investing, Linda is cosplaying as an investor while hiding in a comfort blanket of denial. And there are thousands of Lindas out there, blind, clueless, hopeful, broke. But here's the truth. The explosion you dream about, it's possible. HBAR could become the backbone of global finance. Stablecoins, tokenized assets, digital identity, $5 trillion, $400 billion, 0 cents daily FX markets. Hedera is in those conversations. It's already powering the Australian digital dollar pilot with the RBA. That's massive. That's not speculation, that's headlines. But then here's the dark twist. None of that guarantees you'll get rich because enterprises want boring stability, not volatility. They want $0, 3 cents fees, not $10, 0 cents tokens. They want predictable rails, not casino charts. If you can't understand that difference, if you can't face that uncomfortable truth, you'll miss the real play. You'll keep chasing hopium while Marcus, the quiet teacher who stakes and studies, laughs at you in 2031. HBAR holders remind me of people who buy gym memberships, post selfies at the smoothie bar, brag about the sauna, but never touch a dumbbell. Then they complain they're not ripped. You're not broke because Hedera isn't working. You're broke because you refuse to lift the weight of reality. Let's make this fun. Drop the word explode in the comments if you actually want to admit you've been blind, but you're ready to wake up. Smash that like button if you've secretly whispered, why the hell isn't price moving, while retweeting bullish charts, because this is just the beginning. In the next segment, I'm gonna tear into the psychology trap, the clown level behavior that keeps HBAR holders broke even when adoption is staring them in the face. And trust me, if you thought segment 1 hurt, segment 2 is gonna feel like lemon juice on a paper cut. Let's be brutally honest. The biggest enemy of HBAR isn't supply unlocks, whales, or tokenomics. It's you, your brain, your fear, your clown level emotional swings that keep sabotaging you before Hedera even has a chance to prove itself. Take Jake. He bought HBAR at $0.08, patting himself on the back like Warren Buffett's secret nephew. When it hit $0.12, he panicked. Supply unlocks are coming, better sell. He dumped, bragged about being smart, then watched HBAR climb to $0.15. Guess what? Jake FOMO'd right back in. A week later, it dropped to $0.11. He rage quit, muttered manipulation, and swore off crypto until the next pump. Jake doesn't invest. Jake just plays hot potato with his money. Hedera's Treasury Unlock schedule is no secret. It's public. Tens of millions of tokens hit the market every month through 2031. If you act blindsided every time price dips after an unlock, you're not an investor, you're a clown juggling knives blindfolded. But here's the real kicker. Then you double down on the hopium. You dive into Twitter echo chambers, Telegram hype groups, and YouTube Moonboy streams where everyone chants $10, 0 cents, HBAR, next cycle. You block anyone who dares say otherwise. You don't want facts, you want dopamine. And dopamine is killing your portfolio. Let's talk adoption headlines. Arcax, Lloyds, and Aberdeen running tokenized FX trades on Hedera in 2025? That's monumental. We're talking about the UK's $5.4 trillion 0 cents daily FX market, or the Australian digital dollar pilot AUDD running directly on Hedera with Reserve Bank connections. That's central bank level validation. But did your bag explode? No, because these deals aren't made for retail. They're made for institutions. Your $1,000 0 cents buy doesn't matter to Lloyds Bank. And here's where I laugh. HBAR holders treat headlines like scratch-off tickets. Look, another partnership, maybe this time. Meanwhile, price stays flat. That's not adoption failing, it's your expectations failing. Infrastructure doesn't pump overnight. Nobody got rich buying TCP/IP, but you keep treating Hedera like it's Dogecoin with a suit. You guys are like dieters who buy kale smoothies, post grind mode selfies at Planet Fitness, then eat an entire pizza at midnight. You talk long-term, but the second price dips 20%, you panic sell. You're not long-term holders, you're tourists in crypto cosplay. But then here's the nightmare. You're setting yourself up to miss the only moment that actually matters, because Hedera's long game is real. The tokenized money market funds market grew 7,400% since 2023, surpassing $7.4 billion 0 cents in assets by early 2025. Some of that runs through Hedera. Enterprises are choosing Hedera for settlement speed and cost efficiency. That's utility, that's adoption. But if you can't hold through boredom, through dilution, through FUD, you'll sell before utility collides with scarcity. Enter Marcus, the quiet teacher who bought HBAR in 2021. He read unlock schedules. He understood that stablecoins like AUDD validate Hedera even if they don't pump retail bags. He staked. He waited. He didn't freak out when Twitter screamed HBAR is dead. Marcus isn't sexy. Marcus isn't loud. But Marcus will be the one still holding when the fireworks finally go off. Meanwhile, Jake will be crying on Reddit about how he knew about HBAR early but sold too soon. So let's get real. The psychology trap isn't just about losing money now. It's about removing yourself from the game before the real payoff. And the cruel part, you won't even notice you lost until you see Marcus retiring early while you're still clocking in for a 9 to 5. Now let's interact. Drop the word clown in the comments if you've ever panic sold low, bought high, then blamed whales. Own it, let's laugh at ourselves together. And while you're here, smash that subscribe button, because you know I'm the only one with the guts to say this while everyone else is whispering bedtime stories. But don't you dare click away, because in the next segment, I'm going to expose the cruelest twist of all. Hedera doesn't even need you. It can succeed without retail. Imagine living in a Hedera-powered world where your bag still collects dust. That's not a nightmare, that's reality waiting to slap you in the face. Here's the truth you don't want to hear. Hedera could win. Hedera could dominate. Hedera could become the backbone of global finance, and you could still end up broke. That's the silent success nobody talks about. And the worst part, deep down, you already know it. But wait, you've been trained to believe that enterprise adoption equals retail moonshots. Banks are using Hedera, this is it. Stablecoins are launching, we're rich. No, stop it. Enterprise adoption doesn't automatically fill your pockets. Enterprises aren't trying to make you rich, they're trying to make themselves efficient. In 2025, Hedera powered the Australian digital dollar AUDD pilot, selected by the Reserve Bank of Australia. That's massive validation. But then, did your HBAR bag pump? No, because stablecoins are designed to be stable. They're meant to be boring, invisible, predictable. Adoption happened, price didn't. Here's another one. Arcax, Lloyds Bank, and Aberdeen use tokenized money market funds on Hedera for FX trades. The UK alone trades $5.4 trillion 0 cents per day in FX and derivatives. Trillions with a T. But then, did your HBAR portfolio suddenly explode? Of course not, because those trades aren't retail fireworks. They're boardroom efficiency plays. And this is where the night twists. Hedera's greatest strength, being enterprise first, boring, reliable, could be your greatest weakness as a retail holder. You want volatility, moonshots, 10x charts. They want stability, predictability, cost savings. Your dream is their nightmare. Let me paint a picture. It's 2030. You're at Starbucks, paying with a card that clears instantly over Hedera rails. Your paycheck arrives in seconds through tokenized settlement. Your bank moves billions daily on Hedera. And you're sitting there with a bag that's barely moved because you expected adoption to equal speculation. You're living in a Hedera-powered world while your investment collects dust. That's the silent success. But here's the cruel irony. Then, one day, supply collides with demand. Token unlocks stop in 2031, circulating supply levels out. Meanwhile, adoption keeps compounding. Stablecoins, tokenized funds, digital identity. Suddenly, there's scarcity. That's when the explosion happens. But by then, will you still be holding? Or will you have rage quit in 2025 like Jake? Remember Jake, our panic seller from segment 2? He'll be the guy screaming, "I was early, I knew about HBAR in 2021." While Marcus, the teacher who staked, waited, and understood, quietly cashes out. That's the difference between being blind and being awake. Tokenized money market funds have grown 7,400% since 2023, surpassing $7.4 billion 0 cents AUM by early 2025. That growth isn't theory, it's happening now. Some of it runs on Hedera, but the average holder won't be around to see the collision between adoption and scarcity. They'll have already sold at the bottom, chasing some meme coin promising overnight riches. HBAR holders remind me of people bragging, "Bro, I own part of the road that Amazon trucks drive on," then crying when asphalt stocks don't pump. That's literally you. You're flexing about infrastructure and expecting fireworks. Infrastructure doesn't moon, it just quietly takes over. Hedera doesn't need you. It doesn't need your bags, your tweets, your hype. If every retail investor dumped tomorrow, Hedera would keep going because it was never about you. It was about the council, the enterprises, the banks, the governments. You are background noise in their strategy. And if you can't handle that, you're not an investor, you're a tourist. So let me challenge you. Drop the word ghost in the comments if you finally understand the risk. Hedera could succeed spectacularly and you could still end up invisible in the story. And smash that like button if you'd rather hear this cruel truth than another bedtime fairy tale about $100 0 cents HBAR. Don't go anywhere, because in the next segment, I'm giving you the one chance retail actually has, the strategy that separates the Jakes from the Marcuses. It's not pretty. It's not fast, but it's the only way you don't get left behind when the real fireworks finally come. You've heard me rip HBAR holders to shreds for being blind, lazy, and hopelessly addicted to hopium. But here's the last uncomfortable truth. You can win. Yes, you, the same person who panic sold at $0.11 and then bought back at $0.15. The same person bragging about Google being on the council without even knowing what the council does. You can still make it, but only if you stop playing dumb games and start playing the long game. Let's set the stage. Hedera has everything a next generation network needs: speed, 3-5-second settlement, low fees, fractions of a cent, energy efficiency, carbon negative, and governance by giants like Google, IBM, Boeing, and Standard Bank. Add in the Australian digital dollar pilot, tokenized FX trades worth $5.4 trillion 0 cents daily in the UK, and 7,400% growth in tokenized money market funds since 2023. And the picture is clear. Hedera is building the rails of the future. But then, here's the trap. You confuse adoption with instant profits. You expect your bags to moon every time a headline drops. That's not how infrastructure plays out. TCP and IP didn't make early holders rich overnight. Visa rails don't pay dividends to people bragging on Twitter. Hedera is plumbing. The wealth transfer comes later when scarcity collides with unstoppable adoption. Here's where most of you screw it up. You won't last long enough to see it. You'll sell too early. You'll rage quit after the next unlock. You'll chase the latest meme coin, promising 100x in a week. And by 2031, when unlocks stop and demand finally outweighs supply, you'll be gone. Marcus will be holding. Jake will be crying. Linda will still be coping. Which one are you going to be? And don't tell me you're long-term. If you panic every time price dips 20%, you're not long-term, you're a tourist. Long-term means staking, studying, accepting dilution, and staying patient when it's boring. It means understanding Hedera doesn't need you, but you can still benefit if you align with reality instead of fantasy. HBAR holders are like people who start a diet on Monday, order kale smoothies, post fitness grind selfies, and by Wednesday they're face deep in donuts. Then they complain, why am I not losing weight? You're not broke because Hedera failed. You're broke because you treat investing like a diet cheat day. Here's the real play. Accept dilution. It's not going away until 2031. Spake. Earn passive rewards while you wait. Track real adoption. Watch AU, DD, ARCAX, tokenized funds, not price candles. Detach from hopium. Headlines don't equal moonshots. Play for scarcity. The day unlocks end and demand keeps growing is the day retail finally gets its payday. But then you still have to survive until then. And that's the hardest part because most of you aren't built for boredom. You want fireworks. Hedera won't give you fireworks every week. It'll give you rails, stability, enterprise adoption, and one day when the world isn't watching, it'll give you an explosion you weren't ready for. So let me make it interactive. Drop the word awake in the comments if you're done being a clown and ready to stop lying to yourself. Smash that like button if you'd rather get roasted with the truth than sung to sleep with hopium lullabies. And subscribe, because whether you admit it or not, you need someone slapping you back to reality when you start drifting off into fairy tales. Hedera's future is inevitable. The only question is whether you'll be here when the explosion finally happens, or whether you'll be just another sad story of someone who knew but couldn't hold on. The clock is ticking. What are you going to do?